Is showtime. We are live. How you doing, everybody? I am Tyrone Wilson. I'm here with my brother, Alfred Fincher. And the reason we're here is because last week I was able to share my mental health journey on my Instagram channel. We got a lot of positive feedback. A lot of different people were hitting me up saying, this is a really good thing that you're doing. Um, the world needs to see a lot more of that, especially amongst Black men. So that's going to primarily be my focus. I have a lot of people that are lined up, ready to share their journey as well. I want to be able to let the world see that, there are people out there that are going through things mentally and emotionally, and it's not a bad thing, right? There are things that have affected you or things that happened to you in the past that affect you now. So being able to see that, being able to see like other people express that is what we're going for. My brother was my very first choice, of course, and you all will see why. So, Alfred, tell the people, who are you? Who is Alfred Fincher?
Oh wow, that's a loaded question. That's like one of the toughest questions, especially like when I do interviews every day. I'm like, "Who are you?" It's
Don't
always,
worry, I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna ask you again.
it's always
You can give him the quick and dirty right now.
yeah, it's always tough to explain yourself. But without getting too deep into that question, who I am, um, I think I'm just a regular person, just like everyone else. I know with my background, being a professional athlete, and things like that, people might think things are different. But with my journey and my story, I'm just a very regular person, with just some unique experiences that I've had in my life, and that helped shape and mold me at the same time. So I would say that's the basic answer. I'm just a regular.
Regular? You're
Everybody.
regular? You think you're regular? You've been able to do things less than 1% of the world has been able to do. So
Yeah, I
that's definitely not regular.
mean, no, no, no. I mean, yeah, definitely. I think when it comes to mindset and my mental makeup, yeah, I definitely think I'm able to set myself apart, from others in that standpoint. But my journey, I think people can listen to my journey and understand and relate and see that I struggle just like everyone else. I think it's just how I allow the situations to affect me is what makes me maybe different. But, I go through a lot of different things, a lot, of different things. And I'm just able to get through them, and keep moving and keep progressing and keep growing. So,
Yeah, well, I'm happy you've mentioned some buzzwords, mental makeup, in your journey, because we're gonna dig deep. So
sure.
I hope you're ready.
Yeah.
What was childhood like for you?
Um,
Do you want my version, or you gonna tell your version? No, what was childhood like
what was
for you?
childhood like for me? I'm sure
Mhm.
for y'all say I was spoiled or
What
things.
was it? What was it like for you?
For me, wow. I think it was twofold. I think on the outside looking in, even for myself, until I started doing some work, I think on the outside looking in, it was a good childhood, for the most part. I had my siblings. I had a good core of friends. I got into sports at an early age, and then I was actually pretty good at the sport. So like childhood was good. Like school was fun. I enjoyed school. I enjoyed the sport. I enjoyed my friends, and I really didn't have any issues. I was blessed to be bigger than everyone else, so
Mhm.
it's not like I got bullied. I was always in the in crowd, if you want to say
Mhm.
that. So it was just a good childhood from that standpoint. Now, on the flip side of that,
Hold on. What are some of your first? What are some of your fondest memories? Some of your first and fondest memories as a child.
oh wow. That's a great question because I think this is where the work needs to continue to happen for
Mhm.
me and things like that because um, there's a lot of memories that I have, but I don't remember. So
Okay.
that's some of the challenges. But I can remember some. I mean, I remember some with Daddy. I mean, those some of those stick out with Daddy. Like Daddy, I broke my thumb, and Daddy snuck me. Should I say Daddy or Alfred? you know,
Say it.
our father.
Uh-huh.
Our father. He took he took me to the football games, even though Ma didn't want me to go. So even though I had
Mhm.
my broken hand, he still took me. He made me sneak out the back door, and he met me down the street. And I just
Mhm.
really appreciated that. I really did. Now that I look back and think about it, that was something that was definitely special for sure.
Yeah.
I have a lot of good moments. I mean, like I said, with the sport and being successful, I remember playing my first game and scoring a touchdown with one shoe on. You know,
Mhm.
those were all good moments. I remember us traveling as kids,
Mhm.
down to Florida, Cape Canaveral, and things like
Mhm.
that. Like that, all that stuff was fun. Or just being in the van, traveling down
Mhm.
and eating the pieces of chicken that we cooked in the back.
Uh-huh.
There's a ton of memories, for sure.
Okay. Um, I feel like it's always good to start with the major pillars
Hmm.
in your life. So I want to dig a little bit deeper into uh, the two major pillars, which would be our parents,
Hmm.
and I'll let you pick which one you want to start with first, and then I'll ask the question.
Okay, so you're
Pick
saying
either just pick mama or daddy. I have a question that I want to
all
ask.
the two major
You pick mama. Yeah, you
pillars.
pick mama or daddy, and then I'm
Okay,
gonna ask.
I'll start with Daddy. Let's go with Daddy first.
Okay. So when it comes to daddy, I want you to talk about some of his traits, right?
Yeah,
Maybe some of his negative traits first
yeah,
that you see from him that may have been filtered down to you.
yeah. So I've had to do some real digging, obviously, because of my
Hmm.
past with Daddy. I think the negative things that I have with Daddy is we're both very loud. Like I'm loud and I can't even like it's just who I am. Like I'm not angry. I'm just loud, and
Hmm.
like when I talk, I'm passionate. I think I'm getting loud right now, right? So
Yeah,
like I'm
that's fine.
loud, he's loud. Um, and I think that's definitely one thing. And I think being my size, that could be perceived a different way. And I have
Hmm.
to just be mindful of that, when I'm communicating with others and things like that. So definitely loud. I see him being loud as well.
Hmm.
Um, from there, negative. I'm trying to think of negative things from Daddy. Um,
It's okay if he watches it and
no,
sees it. It's totally fine. Yeah.
no, I'm not worried about that.
Hmm.
You know how we talk about, this might be a sore subject. No, no, but
No,
how we talk about
open
like just the Finchers have
it.
this
Hmm.
trait, right? There's
Hmm.
definitely a trait with the Finchers, and I don't know how to explain it. We're definitely strong-willed,
Hmm.
and we can probably be a lot for people for
Hmm.
sure. I don't know how to explain that, but just our natural state of being a Fincher, we're just I can see that being overwhelming for people sometimes because our mental makeup is one where we can just overcome so much, you
Hmm.
know. Um, so I can see that being a negative maybe to someone else.
Hmm. Right.
So that's really it from a negative standpoint, to be honest, that I can think of from Daddy.
What about
Um,
what about the positive?
the positives. So, this was one I had to ask myself for a while, like, where does my makeup come from? I had to
Hmm.
ask myself because, of my history with my and dad. And it wasn't until Daddy just recently was able to get himself, back together and get his own place is where I realized like that's where it comes from. Like the positives about Daddy that are in me is like he's just a go-getter. Like he just gets it done. Like he's just he actually amazes me with it because he has challenges that a lot of people don't have, and he's still able to find a way to do it. And he's generally happy most of the time. He really is. He's just a happy person. I think another good trait is like he's a good dude. Like he's a good person at heart, and if you can take out some of the things he's had to go through, he's just a really good person and he cares and he's fun and things like that. And I think I'm like that as well, for sure.
You said you think you're like that?
I think I'm like that.
Okay.
I am like that. Like I'm definitely that. I'm a good, caring person. I'm fun. I'm positive. And I feel like he's like that too. I mean, I think circumstances get in our way sometimes, but other than that, I think those are definitely some of the positives. But he's definitely strong-willed and he definitely gets things done. I definitely, I definitely appreciate that about him for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
To Mom.
Okay, Ma. I think the negatives, starting with the negatives of Ma that I see in me, right? That was the question. Mm-hmm. I think a long time what I took from Ma, the negatives was the way I communicated. So, in my childhood, the way Ma communicated to me was in a guilty, guilty, petty, vindictive kind of way. And I took some of those traits when I was starting to communicate with others. So when I would get emotional, I would become petty, or I'd become, like vindictive. Like I just create situations just to see, things like that. And I think I learned that style of communication from her. So I would definitely say that would be a negative that I definitely took from her.
Are you aware that you're doing that when you do it?
Yeah, that's the sad thing. That is the crazy thing. It's a conscious effort for sure.
And how do you feel when you are aware that you're doing it and you still do it?
Well, I don't feel, if you're looking for me to say I feel guilty, I don't. But
okay, that makes sense.
It's not, because it's selfish, right? It's more about what I need to accomplish for my emotional feeling. So that's why it's selfish, right? It's like, I feel this way. Well, I'm gonna do this to get what I need to feel okay. And it's just a selfish way. So if anything, when I look at it, I feel selfish. But in the moment, I just feel like I'm getting the emotional fulfillment that I need for myself.
We're going to touch on that in a little bit. We're going to touch on that because I know emotions are huge with you.
Yeah.
So let's go to the positives.
The positives. I'm going to answer this question probably more as an adult in this one and not her son. But
yeah, man, live your truth.
My truth with Ma, the positives is, and Mama will laugh if Mama sees this because I always get on her about saying this, but Mama's a survivor. Like, as much as I get on her like, Ma, you need to start living, stop surviving, right? But Mama's a survivor, and everything that we've been through, Mama was there for me. Even if she wasn't directly there at times, she was always there. And she made the tough decisions at times. And even though she might not have been able to be her best, we still survived and we still made it. And she's definitely taught me that trait, and she's definitely instilled that trait in me. So a combination of that Fincher kind of way with Mama's teachings of, survival has made me into this just mentally, monster of a beast to be able to just make it through a lot of challenging situations.
Okay. So now them as a whole, if you were to describe your parents as a unit, how would you describe it?
I know no thing. I don't have an idea. I don't have a concept of that.
Okay. Do you feel like you have this ability to explain them individually, but you have no concept of them as a unit?
No.
How do you feel like that affected you?
Wow. I think, like it's challenging because you just trying to think how to explain it. You have your parents, they're living. I know them individually, but I don't know what that unit looks like. So all my learnings of what a unit look like come from outside factors. And I kind of just use those outside factors, place them in my head, and then try to connect it to what I think mom and dad would have been. And then obviously the stories I hear from my siblings, I use those to kind of create this picture of what they could have been. But that's really it. Yeah.
So, like, I know that that it pains me to hear you say that.
Yeah.
Especially being the oldest, I have lots of memories of them as a unit, but to hear you say like nothing, So additional factors that you mentioned. You care to expand on that? You mentioned outside factors.
Outside factors of me understanding like the dynamic.
A unit.
Yeah, I mean, so I at some point in my life I lived with another family, the Reen, things like that. When I lived with them, it was probably what you would think, a marriage or a situation would be like. They were a loving couple, married for maybe at the time probably 30 years. They had a ton of kids.
They just hit 50. Right?
Yeah, so
they just hit 50. Congrats to them.
So, right. So for 30 years, they have been married for 30 years. They had their system down. I watched them operate, and they really taught me some things without even saying it. Like the first thing that I realized was they understood each other and they understood each other's roles. Each role could have been different. Like Mr. Reen did go to work and Mrs. Reen stayed home, but it could have been different. Mrs. Reen could have went out to work and Mr. Reen could have stayed home, but that's what they chose to do. And they understood that role and they never stepped on each other's space. Mr. Reen provided and Mrs. Reen provided inside that house. And it was like clockwork, and dinner was made every single day. We sat down and had dinner. The groceries were always on time. The lights were always on. I know that sounds crazy for some, but the lights were always on. We always had the things that we needed to have. And I just really watched them work in a unit. And then I've never seen them argue, but I've seen them be firm, with each other. And I appreciated that because, in that kind of dynamic, it was an old school dynamic of the man goes out and the woman stays home. But Mrs. Reen had this presence about her that was very firm at times that I just remember, and she'd be like, Jim, chill out, and I'd be like, okay,
that's how to do it.
Yeah. Okay. So I thought that was very special. They really showed me what a unit looks like and what it can be if you communicate and you operate and understand roles. And I definitely appreciate that from them.
Okay, from your perspective,
Yeah.
what do you feel led to you living with a whole new family?
From my perspective,
Hmm. What were you thinking about, when you ended up there? Did you question it? Did you
yeah,
have?
yeah. Honestly, it was very basic. Mama had sat me down and said, "I think we're gonna move," and I was like, "I don't want to move," And she was like, "Well, we're gonna have to move because I can't afford the place we're staying in." And I was like, at first, I was like, "Where are we gonna move to?" And then she kind of explained, "We're gonna move to Milton." I
Hmm.
think she said Milton first. I don't think she said Rockland, but Milton. And then I started to think about it a little bit. And then honestly, it really just took form. Like right after she told me, I was like, okay. And then I had, hung out with Dan. Dan Reen was my best friend. I hung out with Dan that day like I would any other day. We hung out all the time. And I told Dan just communicating with him. And then literally Dan took initiative and told his parents. And then once he told his parents, he's the one really who kind of progressed the thing forward because he had spoke to his parents, and I found out later in life that his parents said no. And then through his persistence, they eventually said, okay, we'll sit and have a meeting with Alfred and his mother and things like that. So once we knew we were going to have the meeting, that's when I went back to mom, was like, maybe I can stay with Dan. He's my best friend. We're hanging out. I was over there every single day anyway at that point. And mom was willing to listen. And basically, once everything got together, they kind of just discussed everything. And to my perspective at the time, that was it.
Okay. From your parents in that unit, what
Yeah.
would be some things that you see from them that you would do differently, as a parent? Because yes, you are a parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you touched on it. I think I might have missed it, but as a parent,
Yeah.
now that you are able to see that and experience that, what are some things that you have taken from that you would do differently?
Look, I mean, one thing I probably should share with Ma more is the gravity and the difficulty of that situation in that decision.
So you understand
Uh-huh.
a little bit. So you, um, the word I'm looking for is like you have some empathy in the fact that she has to make some
Yeah.
tough
So as a
decisions.
parent now, um, I definitely am more understanding, like I said, because as a child, you got to remember at the time, I wasn't thinking Ma gave me away or nothing like that. So, for me in that moment, it wasn't like that. I think as I'm older and understanding the feelings and emotions that came with that, that's why the young me looks back and thinks of Mama like, well, where were you kind of thing, right? But in that moment, wasn't thinking like that. As a parent, now I'm able to say, with all the information that I have, I'm able to say, that was a difficult decision, but truthfully, I think she made the best decision. Truthfully, because of where she was at the time and what that could have meant for me, per se. And you can never predict how the situation's going to go. I think it went somewhere where a lot of people just didn't see it going. But me knowing Mama and the fact that I tell you she's a survivor and the fact that she made that choice tells me she just didn't have enough in her at that time. And who knows what it could have been if I stayed.
Right. Okay.
So that's me seeing that as an adult now.
Okay. So it seems like, you're understanding and you're absorbing these new revelations, right?
Yeah.
What are some things that you have found out about your childhood at an older age that kind of make you feel a certain way, right? Like these truths that
Yeah.
you say you're figuring out.
Right. So let me touch on that. But one thing I just want to give a quick like story, like for the people who are listening. I
No, no,
think
go
and
ahead.
you know the story, but they don't. So we're kind of giving them bits and pieces. But basically, long story short is, as I was growing up, my mother and father got divorced, and then I was living with my mother by myself for about a year or two, and then because of financial reasons, my mom needed to move, and then I moved in with the new family. So that was the situation. So so people can understand some context.
Yeah, we left some out. So
Right. So I'm
there's
saying
a
that.
reason. So there's a reason Ma had the financial, and we're gonna get into that.
Right. So I'm giving them
Uh-huh.
context of the basic story because now I'm
Okay.
about to tap into what did I learn as an adult
Mm-hmm.
that I didn't know then. So, right, that's
Mm-hmm.
the question you asked.
Yeah.
So as an adult, I had to learn that, okay, so my parents split because my dad was on drugs, and that my mom had to maybe escape that situation. And there was a lot of situations maybe with you and Leisha that happened that I didn't know that happened. I found out later that like Leisha and Address was my sister's boyfriend at the time, were helping support, mama and daddy, or that situation a little bit. These are things that I didn't know.
Mhm.
Um, and like I said, you being the oldest, I don't even know really like what parts you have. I just kind of know you were in the military. Like that's the hard part for me because you were in the military. It was more like Leisha was in this block with me, and then Leisha left that block, and then it was me and Mom. So the things I learned was just about the drugs. Um, and that's kind of why Mama didn't really tell me that. Mama just said, "We're moving. Don't tell your daddy." That was it. That was it. And I was like, all right.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, so you did talk about Leisha, you talked about me leaving. Um, but I wanted to get a feel from you about your mental makeup
yeah.
when all of this is happening, right? You're young, right?
Yeah.
How old do you think you were at this time?
13, probably. I mean, from the time I left Mama's to the Reams,
Mhm.
or just when everything first, or I don't know.
So it feels like everything just happened one by one, right? Me
Right.
leaving, Leisha
Yeah.
moving. Do you like recall like the world and what you were feeling when all this was going on? Or were you just like, yeah, like living like this is just another day?
Yeah. What's funny is this is probably the first time and only time where I think naiveness was very beneficial for me. Like
Mhm.
I just was naive. I was just young. I had no idea what was going on. Like
Mhm.
none. And I think that helped me because I was so naive. I didn't know what was going on. I was able to focus on the sport
Mhm.
and do that. And it just kept me away from realizing that my older brother's gone, my sister's gone, my dad is gone, and mama is, half of maybe what she used to be.
Mhm.
And that's what it was. I really focused, I put my attention into school and the sport when I was outside the house. And then when I got home, it just was what it was.
Mhm.
You know.
So I imagine that naivety wore off at
Hmm.
some point, right?
Yeah.
So my question would be like, when do you remember like your first loss, your first emotional pain, either when things are finally hitting you or just your very first memory of like an emotional setback?
Which is, this is gonna be funny, but probably not until about 35, like, so we're
Okay.
talking about a gap from 15 15 to 35 where I didn't feel nothing. Like
Mhm.
I don't know what it was. Me and Mama talked about this. I think it might have been an innate thing and me having this Fincher trait. I think I sensed that Mama was tired. I think I sensed that we didn't have it. And I just went into mode naturally. Like, I remember, like, for example, if we had school trips, I wouldn't even ask Mama. I would just go to the teachers and be like, we ain't got it. And the teachers would figure, right? The teachers would figure it out for me. They'd be like, Alfred can't not go,
Uh-huh.
The teachers would figure it out. Like, I was like, I don't have cleats. I just tell the people, I was very honest with the people. I don't have cleats. They find a way to give me some cleats. So I definitely want to give shout outs to the people that helped in those ways. And but that was the truth. I think I just sensed it. So there was no point of setting an expectation from Mama because I just already knew it wasn't going to happen. And I just went on my day to day. I really did. I just went on my day to day, and any situations that came up, I tried to find a way to make it happen. And really it.
So we're going to touch on the whole significant event that happened when you said you were at 35, because I feel like that would be important.
Yeah.
But you made a comment about, you said Alfred can't not go.
Yeah.
Right. Why do you feel that is? Why do you feel they made so much changes for you?
Well, I'll say two things. I think it's that part of daddy that you were talking about, like that magnetic energy of happiness and good spirit and good person that I am, that I showed people. I was just a happy kid. And I think the adults recognized my situation without me saying, we just don't have it. They just recognized it. And because I had such a presence amongst my peers, I think that was some of the things. Like, they just wanted to do a good deed because I was just a good person. I really believe that. And then the other side of it is I was a star, right? I was the star at the time. But I'm talking like junior high. Like, I wasn't, like how I, became. But I think when you have this star element, this star quality to you, people do take to that. That's not like, I'm saying that from a perspective standpoint, not the ego standpoint.
Yeah. So you feel like you were the star in junior high?
I was definitely someone of importance. I don't know. Like, and I think they felt that, and I think that could have been, but no, I mean, I don't want to take away from good people. I just genuinely think they wanted to help out, and I was a good kid.
Okay. Tell us about high school. So you're here, you're with this new family.
Yeah.
And you got to go through high school.
Yeah.
And high school are like important years for an adult.
For sure.
You're being molded, you're being shaped. Tell us about high school life.
High school life was good. From a home standpoint, there was an adjustment because I moved in with a new family, and this family had like 30 kids, so I had to get adjusted to living with the entire another family. So the way they parent, the foods they eat, the way they celebrate holidays, the way they just interact amongst each other, right? I went from a unit of tough love and not as much family interaction from my standpoint, and then when it was me and Mama, to really just me by myself, to a family where every night they're meeting in the family room all together, talking, right? And when you're in that room, it feels like a boiler room because as soon as the attention gets on you, they could either roast you or, they can ask you a serious question, and they were very quick and witty. So it was very challenging and intimidating being in a setting like that at first. So at home, there were some adjustments. Also at home, some adjustments were that people probably don't even think about is like I was good at the sport, but I lived with my best friend and he played with me in all these sports, and they did a good job of making sure he didn't feel outshined, but it didn't mean I didn't feel it. Like I would come home and just go straight upstairs so his family could say good game to him, because I knew when I came in the room, they were going to be like, Alfred, you killed it today. So I was mindful of those things in the home life. School probably was my like way to escape probably everything. Like I loved going to school. Like I went to school. School was fun. I probably knew every student. I knew every teacher. I was involved in everything. And I was very active at school. So I enjoyed school. So school life was good for me.
No. So you don't want to say it, but I'll tell them. Alfred was the class president at his high school, sophomore, junior, senior year.
Yeah.
Alfred's still trying to be humble right now because he don't want to say it. So I like the fact that you have mentioned your awareness, like you were aware and you were empathetic of Dan.
Yeah.
I know they also say that, by the time you're in 10th grade, you have a feeling of who you are as a person. Did you know who you were at that point?
Yeah. So definitely, that's very accurate. I would say definitely by my sophomore year, I knew I was something different. If that's a way to say it. I knew I wasn't like all of my peers. And the things that got me to believe that was like when I used to go to my friend's house, right? And I'd walk in with a group of friends, the parents always addressed me and would talk to me like I was an adult, whereas they'd be like, I won't use real names, whatever, but they'd be like, hey, Mike, right? And they'd let Mike go in. But then they'd be like, Alfred, come sit and talk to me, and I'd be like, so I knew that I knew I was affecting people different or being seen different from that standpoint at that time for sure, and then, as you progress, you start to feel it, like, especially like during football, you start to feel people looking at you, you start to feel people talking about you, and you can start to understand that there's something different going on here.
Okay. So you're progressing, you're realizing there's something different. Did you have any hopes, dreams, goals that you wanted to accomplish at that point?
Otopeka State.
Talk about it. Right? Talk about Otopeka State. What does that mean?
Yeah, man.
I know what it means. Tell the world what it means.
Right. So, like when I was younger, the goal was to get to college. So these days, all these kids just talk about making it to the league and all that stuff. So for me, the goal was to get to college. So me and my brother would always sit and chat like, my God, what would happen if you get a scholarship, or where would you want to go? And I would just be like, I don't care if it's Otopeka State, because it didn't matter. Long as somebody gave me a full ride, I was going. And it didn't matter where it was. And Otopeka comes from Kansas, by the way. And Kansas was my favorite state. I don't know why at the time. It was just the capital, Otopeka. So that's why Otopeka State. But
it's Topeka.
Oh, Topeka. Sorry. There we go. That's where it comes from. Topeka. Look at me. Topeka. But that's where it came from. But that was the goal, like to get to college. I don't think at the time I was necessarily thinking that I would be the first, to go. But I think it was just more to get to college. That was the goal.
Okay. Past college, you knew you were different. When did you realize that you could make it to the league?
Wow. When did I realize that I could make it to the league? Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna be honest, it took a while for me to believe I could make it to the league. I would
You
say,
did say it out loud, right? You said it
huh?
out loud. You said it out loud once.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, at the end of my sophomore year, I did talk to myself, at the top of the stadium, and I had asked myself, like, what are you doing? And I had said, like, are you gonna like focus on school, or are you gonna give this NFL thing a shot? And in my mind at that time, I said, I'm a starter and I'm here. I got to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I did. I literally just said, I'm going to give it a shot at the end of my sophomore year. I said, I am a starter. And then I started like watching other guys around the nation and seeing what they're doing. And I felt like I could achieve certain things if I just worked at it and things like that. And one thing about my career is I always felt like there was a progression coming. Like always. Like when I remember being in high school and my coach was like, seniors, this is your last game. And I was like, not for me. Right. Because I felt it. Like I did. I felt it at every step of the way. And I can honestly say it was the same in college. Like I felt like I could progress and I felt like I was progressing. And I said, if I just continue on that path, I have a chance. And that's all I really wanted was a chance. So I would say at the end of sophomore year was the mindset of it. But I mean, I'm going to be honest, that chance in my mind didn't come to my senior year until the fourth game. That's when I said I can go to the league.
Okay. I remember a statement you made at a football game we went to.
Well, like when you were younger, when you took me to the Bucks game? Is that what you're talking about?
Was it the Bucks?
So if we're going way back, it was the Bucks versus the Patriots. And you took
the Bucks?
Yeah, because Warren Sapp was there.
Okay. Was it the Bucks or the Ravens?
It was the Bucks because it was Warren Sapp. I won't forget it was Warren Sapp. That's the first time in my life I actually said I want to be there, like out loud. But I don't know if I ever thought about it after that. Like when you took me to that game and I saw Warren Sapp come over to our sideline and he just looked up and they booed him, but he just kept shaking his head like this, like, yeah, I want it. And I was like, this is where I want to be. You know what I mean? So that was one of the first moments right there.
Okay.
But if you have another moment you can think of.
No, that's it. That's it. Exactly. So moving forward, we're in college. I know of a significant event that happened. So we're just trying to get a feel for your mental makeup, a feel for, your ability to push through things. I asked about, your first loss emotionally.
Yeah.
And you had said it was when you turned 35. I feel like there were things that happened way before that.
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's something?
Yeah. No, I got you.
I feel like that's something that was so deep that you literally just now said felt nothing.
Yeah, no, okay. So sometimes it's hard because I do got to go back and like rethink of things because I do have this ability to just push forward. But no, so in college when Reen died, that definitely
to be clear,
affected me, huh?
Yeah. So to be clear, in case the audience, right, doesn't quite get the full context.
Yeah.
Reen, Dan, was the best friend that made, the move to be persistent to get you to live with them.
Right. So when Dan died, yeah, you know what? Like this is probably bigger than what I thought. I probably got to continue to tap into this space when I do therapy, because when you say some pillars in your life, what was ironic is you said mama and daddy,
Mhm.
But in my life story, a pillar would be Dan, right?
Okay.
So
Mhm.
for me, when I lost Dan, what that did for me, that took away my purpose for a second, for a quick second,
Mhm.
because Dan was the reason it all was happening.
Mhm.
So I remember when Coach Etzel told me what happened, I remember looking at Coach Etzel going, he's the whole reason why I'm here.
Mhm.
Like, and I said, what am I do now? I remember saying that to Coach Etzel, and then I went home and I stayed up there for that summer and things like that. And, it was difficult. I definitely felt that loss for sure. But it took, my new roommate, Dan Orlowski, and
Mhm.
my peers up there to help me. They tapped into my competitive spirit inside to help me kind of get through and be like, you got to get back to work. And I think that's what happened. So I was able to take that negative feeling and then turn it into, I got to get back to work because he wouldn't want me to waste this opportunity,
Mhm.
and he was with me that whole junior year. Every day, before every game I prayed. And I won't say what I said because it's my intimate moments, but every time I prayed and I spoke to him every time before my junior year. So, so that was definitely a pivotal and an emotional moment. I think that was a pivotal moment for me because that moment really sent me in the direction of the NFL, like the drive,
Mhm.
because that's when I was like, let's go.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what helped propel me at that point.
Mhm. Those beeps, can you hear that, or is that just me?
Uh,
Do you
that's
hear any beeps?
that's me. That's my phone
Oh,
is connected to the computer, so every time there's a text, I don't know how do you shut that down? So
air, airplane mode, maybe.
what do you say?
Airplane mode, maybe, or do not disturb on the computer.
Yeah.
So we're moving along. We're college, NFL. Um, make it to the NFL. You get
Hmm.
that call. What does that feel like?
When I get that call,
Hmm.
when I got that call, man, that was like, so how, and this is why I think I do what I do now, is I want everyone to experience that call.
Hmm.
And what I mean by that is every day, a lot of us work to achieve something. And sometimes most of us don't make it.
Hmm.
But if you can have the ability to continue to fight and stay the course, no matter how hard it is, the feeling that you will get at the end is worth all of it.
Hmm.
But that's the challenge. Like, can you make it through that?
Hmm.
Right. And that call, it validated everything that I did and everything that I've been through and every reason why I had to go through everything in that one call right there. It was everything to me to get that call for sure. It was the best feeling probably of my life outside of my daughter.
That's what's up. So what's that? What was that NFL life like?
Oh man, so the NFL life it's one just like you would imagine it to be. Let me start on that side because that's what more people relate to, right? It is glam, it's fame, it's money, it's cars, it's traveling, it's women, it's a freedom that most don't have. It's a status that most don't have. Um, there's levels of enjoyment that
That's you again.
that that word. What'd you say?
You just beeped again.
I know
I think it's the laptop.
yeah, there's moments of enjoyment that we have that are just, high. Like everything is elevated. So, it's like, think about the best food you ate, just it's 10 times better, and that's kind of how it felt being in the NFL. And then from a kid, like from the kid in you, it was awesome because you get to meet your childhood heroes and people you saw grow up, right? I'm playing with Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Ray Lewis, and being able to see that. I'm meeting Mike Singletary and Bill Parcells. So those things were super exciting just to be in that space and be in that world. And I think that was an amazing, definitely feeling, just being in that NFL life. And then being able to provide a little bit, right? I had access to financials where I could help my my peers or my family in certain situations. So it felt good being able to say, like, look, we ain't ever gonna not eat again, or not, like, if you're in a jam, I can always help, right? I didn't have enough to change everyone's life, but I had enough to be like, okay, everybody's good if you're in a jam, a solid jam, and we're good. And that felt good. The other side of it was disappointment. The league wasn't what I thought it was. And some of the people in it weren't who I thought they were. And the business element of the league isn't what people think it is. And it was a level of disappointment because, I thought it was the league, and no, really, it's a business. That's what it is. It's a business. It's a well-run business. And that's exactly what it is. It's a job. It's a job. And that's the disappointing side. The other disappointing side is the other disappointing side is what the NFL creates for yourself and the people around you. It creates a space of just thoughts and situations that it just leaves your mind like just confused, like if you come from a family unit where you don't have it and now you have it, it creates envy, it creates jealousy, it creates feelings of entitlement.
This is good. I was just going to ask you, how did that status affect you as a person?
It changed me in a sense. Like, I had to realize who I had to hold on to and who I had to let go. And sometimes that's hard because I had to let some people go that I've been around for a long time. And when I say that statement comes with family. And that's the hard part, right?
That's deep.
You might have to let your family go. And that is challenging because for me, I ain't never really had my family anyway, to some degree. And to have to maybe let some people go, that was definitely challenging for me, in that aspect. So it's definitely some challenges being in that realm as well. Like, just the situation you have to be in because you have ability to do certain things. You have to kind of alter your life because some people don't understand certain things. And that became a challenge.
Okay. You mentioned family. This is also the time you became a parent as well.
Yeah.
What was that like?
It was a blessing, and then it also created challenges as well. I mean, from the blessing side of it, my daughter helped me unlock all the hidden pieces that I had, right? She forced me to soften up. She forced me to love differently. She forced me to communicate. You know, she just brought it out of me. She forced me to grow. There we go.
Yeah.
She forced me to grow.
Yeah, hearing you use that word force, it's like you saying that wasn't naturally there for you.
No. So for me, I'm just built, like, I'm aware of who I am. Your situations create who you are. And I'm built to survive. And that's what I am. I'm built to survive. Like, and when you say, okay, now let's turn that off, there's no such thing in my world. So the only way that's going to be turned off is through something extreme. And having a child at that age of 22, and then having a daughter, and then feeling this emotion that comes with a child, that emotion was more powerful than the survival mode. And that's what forced me to grow.
I'm liking this growth in Alfred Fincher. I'm liking this growth. 35.
Yes.
Let's talk about this significant event. This huge.
Yeah. So I think so for me, I had another loss. My daughter's mom passed away. And seeing her pass away was another big moment in my life for a lot of different reasons. And we go back to that pillar again. And Rhonda, I'm like using names, but not using names, but Rhonda was a pillar in my life, you know, and Rhonda had been with me since I was 12, right? Rhonda had been with me maybe longer than my brother had been longer with me, and my sister. And Rhonda was such a pillar and a staple in my life that losing her, even though we weren't together in an intimate relationship, losing her was like losing a piece of my identity, you know, because if you go back to my hometown, there's no story without Rhonda and Alfred, right? There's no, I think now people might say just me, but there's no existence without us two together, you know? So that was a huge piece of my identity growing up. So I lost track. What was the main question again? I'm going out there now. I'm getting deep.
No, I like it. We were talking about the significant event at 35.
Oh, yeah, at 35. So that changed me. So the reason why that changed me was, you know, like I hope no one ever has to experience someone dying, but I actually literally watched her die because I was in the hospital every single day and I didn't leave. I stayed with her for 2 weeks straight and I watched it. And when you watch it, it just watching her struggle, but then watching the beauty in it, like it was just a mix of emotions. Because when you're about to pass, you just think differently. Your mind shifts, your mind changes. And she was able to share that with me. And that helped me, like, I got to grow. Like, I can't hold on to these things. I can't resent people. I got to heal and mend relationships because I'm losing one right in front of me. And Rhonda and I, we had some great times, but, you know, towards the end there, we had some tough times. And we probably battled for 10 years. But in that moment, we talked for 2 hours or 3 hours, and we cleared up 10 years of fighting in 3 hours. And it just showed me, if you're willing to listen, then you can change and you can grow. And once we did that, I just felt like it was time to change. You know, it was time to grow. And that just changed my life, you know, and obviously I became a single parent and things like that, but it just changed my whole perspective on things. And Once I got home, I immediately called Ma and I told Ma to come stay with me. And once Ma came down and stayed with me, we went straight to work. And literally, since she's passed, I've been going straight to work. Like, there's not one issue that I'm not addressing, and I'm attacking it as well. And I'm getting to the bottom of it, no matter how uncomfortable it was. You know, when Rhonda passed, we had that first Christmas. Mama was down there, and Rhonda's mom was with me too. And it wasn't a good Christmas. We battled, right? And I did it at no cost. It was time. Like, we're going to get this out, like it or not, you know, and we did. And we've been better since.
Good. I was going to ask you, what is that growth? What does that change look like for you now? What do you feel is it that you're doing differently, you know, to achieve growth?
I'm asking the right questions. That's one. I'm asking questions, but I'm asking the right questions. And then I'm not afraid to go in places that are uncomfortable, right? Like me digging deep with my mother, and asking her what happened when I was younger, and her telling me the truth. That truth didn't feel good, right? Like, literally abandonment, you know? And listening to Mrs. Reen say, like, they never came. That was challenging, but you have to attack it because that's the truth. But you got to get to the bottom of the truth too. Like, I won't just say Mama abandoned me. I'm going to say I got to understand Mama's state of mind in that state too, and what she was thinking and what she was going through and reasons why. So it's helped me just growing everywhere, because you got to literally attack it and you know, and just keep pushing forward. So
how do you feel your childhood, your upbringing, maybe a sense of abandonment that you just talked about, how do you think it has affected your relationships?
Yeah, so this is the number one thing that I talk about in therapy right now as we speak. I just had an appointment on Thursday. This is what we talk about, and this is what I'm trying to get to the bottom of. And we're almost there because, like I said, how did it affect my relationships? One, I told you earlier, I was petty, vindictive. That came from Mama, right? So when my relationships didn't go the way I wanted, boom, I'm attacking my relationships like that. Me being this survivor mode and killer mode and beast mode, now my relationships are affected because I was like, if you're not on my level, then you getting left behind. And I'm attacking people like that, you know, or I'm looking at them like, you're not, come on, we got to get going. You're not working out. You're not doing this. So it affected my relationships from that standpoint. If the number one thing, it affects my relationships in the standpoint that I'm struggling receiving love. I'm struggling receiving the care and the support that people are giving me because I've never had it. So I don't even know what it looks like. I don't know what it feels like. And because I don't feel it, I end up feeling like I'm doing more in my relationships.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
It's deep. What else I want to talk about? Rock bottom.
I think you might be the only person who's asked me that.
Think about that moment. Just give it like 5-10 seconds.
Yeah.
To like slowly but surely like allow yourself to relive rock bottom again.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I would say what it felt like was I was lost. I felt lost. I felt weak, like super weak. I just felt weak. I felt like nothing I was doing was correct, or
When
nothing I did I could get out of
when was
this
it?
space. Huh?
When was it?
So I've had two rock bottoms, to be honest. So my first rock bottom came when I left the NFL. Well, when the NFL left me. um, and a lot of people don't know this, and I'll share it now. So when I left the NFL, I ended up playing in another league, United Football League, just to collect the check, just because it was such a quick turnover from not making money. I was like, let me at least make some money until I figure out what I'm going to do. But this was in Orlando, and I was in Orlando. It was only like a 4-team league and things like that, or a 6-team league. I don't even know. But we playing in Orlando, when we staying in this hotel, but I was lost. Like I met this dude. I don't even know his name right now, but I know he's from South Carolina, this big offensive lineman. And what's crazy is I was looking at him going, this boy is lost, right? But I'm lost because I was right with him, right? And me and him, we went out every day. We went out every day and we drank every day. And it was to the point where we drank every day where we started making videos where as soon as he would hop in the car, I turn on the video and go, and we're back, right? And truthfully, it was we went out and we went to a strip club, and I was sitting in the strip club, and it just hit me right there in that moment. Like, what are you doing? Like in that, I don't know what it was. It was after night 30. It was like, what are you doing? And I just felt it. I just felt lost. I'm like, where are you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, where are you? What are you doing? And this ain't it, you know? And I think God works in mysterious ways, because the next day I think I got cut. And when I got cut, I'm like, damn, I got cut from this sorry ass league, you know? And then from there, that helped me. Even though I didn't have a job, it helped me refocus and recenter. So that was definitely the first moment. I was definitely at rock bottom on that one. And then the second moment was right before Rhonda passed. We had been in court for 3 years, and the court had ruled in Rhonda's favor, basically for her to take all the savings and everything that I had worked for over, and she had the rights to it. And I just remember calling her saying, I ain't got nothing else. Like, you got it. That's what I said to her. I said, you got it. You won. I got nothing. And the only thing I said to her was, don't leave me with this baby, and I ain't got nothing. And that was it. And that was the second time I hit rock bottom. But I would say in both situations, once that happened, you know me, I'm a survivor. So I found ways to regroup and bounce back.
Yeah, you told me about the R's.
Yeah, right.
Want to tell the people about the R's?
Man, I feel like I don't even remember them so much. Like that's what I'm saying. Like that's the makeup in me. That stuff just comes to me like that. But it's just true. I mean, I know something. I mean, you gotta reflect and you gotta reward, and I forget them. I mean, go through them. I can talk about them.
It's like remember, reward, reflect, regroup.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the key. Like, if we get into the space where you say, like, how are you making it through these things? That's when those R's will come into place. Like, you know, I'm able to literally sit here and rock bottom, but instead of letting my mind overtake me and continue to stay, I have this unique ability to sit here and go, let me embrace that I'm at rock bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Let me store this into memory, because if I ever get here again, I know I can get through it again. And I'm able to just go, what is it? What is it going to take for you to get out of it? And we're going to do this one thing at a time. And that's just what I'm able to do. And a lot of times I just start with myself, whether it be just like get to the gym, make your bed, go to work, just one little small thing at a time, or accomplish one little thing at a time instead of thinking, oh my God, you got all this thing to fix. Nah, I just fix one thing at a time and that's it.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to ask you again.
Yeah.
Who is Alfred Fincher?
I'm a man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that I am a father first. Like I am a father, a loving father. I think I am such a tough question because it makes me feel like I don't know who I am, but it's just hard to express yourself. You still there? Ty? I can't hear you.
Oh, I said, yeah, I'm here. I just wanted you to be the focus for this.
Okay. I was like, it got deep. No, I felt like I was looking at a mirror. I was like, no, but
mm-hmm. That was kind of the point because of the guy in the glass poem.
Right. Mm-hmm. No, I mean, like I said, I think I'm a father. I definitely think I've grown into my manhood. I think I'm responsible. I think I'm loving. I think I'm caring. I think I'm growing. I'm a growing person. I'm definitely loving. I think I'm a respected person. I think I'm a person who's loved and supported. And that's something I wouldn't have said a long time ago. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I guess I got to practice working on that. That's what I think I am. I think I'm a person in the process of growing every single day. Mm-hmm. And I'm enjoying the person that I'm becoming.
Yeah.
There's a level of maturity and patience in the way I feel. And I like that growth, and I'm comfortable. Like this is what I joke about all the time. I say to people like,
"Yeah, get that
that beep.
You need to put the computer on Do Not Disturb."
I don't know how to do that.
So click on the clock.
What clock?
So it's either the clock or the date on the computer. And it'll say Do Not Disturb. It's like an icon next to the date. Or just close your text app, and that should stop it.
Yeah. I know I'm in all these group texts. So annoying. But yeah, where were we? Sorry about that.
You were telling us who you are.
Yeah, I'm just a growing person. Like I just enjoy the process that I'm going through. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Like I used to say to people, like, especially people I could feel that didn't know themselves, and I'd say, like, look, I'm like a Dove commercial. I'm comfortable in my own skin, and I am. I'm like just comfortable with who I am. I understand my flaws, which is important. Like I understand my flaws, and I'm comfortable with them, and I know how to manage them and navigate through them, and I'm comfortable who I am and who I want to become. When I go to work every day, I'm with, some younger people, and I just am like, look, I am comfortable with who I am. I'm not, gonna worry if you like me or you don't like me. Or, I'm confident in the job and the work that I'm doing. I'm confident in the person that I am. And I'm confident in the truthfulness of who I'm trying to be to you. And that's really it. And I'm comfortable.
Okay. Well, we're going to take some questions from the audience now.
Oh, we got a question?
Yeah, so audience, post your questions. We'll get them to Alfred. We do have one up right now from Jen saying,
Hey, Jennifer.
do you think your challenge with receiving from others is because you have no foundation of what receiving love from another person with no strings attached feels like?
Yeah, Jennifer. I mean, I think you hit it right on the head. I mean, I don't have a foundation or I didn't have a foundation of receiving love. Like all I knew is tough love. You know, like I am the master at constructive criticism. Like you can tell me I'm the worst, and I find a way to turn it into something positive. You know, so yeah, it's very challenging for me for someone to come up and hug me, and I'll be like, "You good?" you know. So that's a challenging thing because it's an emotion that I don't know, so I'm unaware of it, and it does become uncomfortable. But now I'm pressing through those situations and I'm accepting them. I accept hugs. You know, like it took me till I was maybe 33 to tell another man, like, I love you. I love you, bro. You know, like really and feel comfortable with it. So
at this point in your life, have you now been able to experience unconditional love?
well, okay, so because I have a daughter, yes. So that obviously is like a cheat code in a sense. So yes. From everyone else, I'm gonna be honest, I still think I'm working through that process. I think I'm able to receive more of it, but I still don't think I'm fully there yet to where I can recognize that people are loving me unconditionally.
Okay, gotcha. You know, I went through this whole interview telling myself that I wasn't going to get emotional, right?
Yeah.
But I do got to tell you, man, you know, I obviously have been seeing you since diapers. And, you know, the only thing I wanted from my little brother was to experience life and everything life has to offer. And I feel like you definitely, you definitely have.
Yeah.
So if you've never heard me say it, I want to tell you that I am proud of you. You know, from everything that you've had to go through, everything that you've accomplished. Not many people in the world would have been able to do it, and you're here. You recognize everything that's going on, and you're thriving. And that's all I've ever wanted for you. So it's really, really good. It's really, really good to see. All right, I'm I'm done with that. And I'm back. We do have some more questions.
Showing the people can be vulnerable. That's the whole point of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like two men discussing. It's okay to be like, I'm proud of in things, and that's where we all struggle sometimes, right? So
Yeah, you see me choking. That's my anxiety coming. How do you use those challenges to navigate your relationship with your daughter? Good question.
Hey Brittany, how you doing? Way to put me on the spot. No, how do I use those challenges to navigate your relationship with your daughter? So ironically, you know, the situations actually help me with my daughter, right? Because I'm built a certain way, and because she's not built that way, like the situation, like because I'm used to tough love and because she's coming at me with love, it forces me again to question myself and say, whoa, what are you doing? Like, why are you responding that way? Why are you not receiving that? How is she receiving what you're saying? You know, what are you giving off? Are you in those old habits? Are you in those old patterns and things like that? So literally, I'm telling you, this little girl brings out everything in me to make sure that I'm not staying in the habits and being that person that I grew up in and was. It forces me to grow. Like, we just had a conversation yesterday, like, you know, and it was like, you know what I mean? Like, before I would have been like, do what I say, do, you know, but now it's like having a conversation. Tell me how you feel. Tell me what you're thinking. I'm listening to what you're saying. I appreciate you. So this is how it's actually helped me. Like, everything I've gone through, yes, it could have been, you can look at it like it's a negative, but it's actually helping me in this part of my life now, because now I have a reference point. And when I look back at that and relate it to now, I'm able to go, you know what it's not supposed to look like. Go this way. And that's how it helps me now.
Okay. J-Rob.
What up, J-Rob?
As a father and having a series of challenges in your life, what advice do you give to your daughter to help her understand how to manage her challenges and emotions?
Yeah, so life is beautiful. And I say that because the situation my daughter and I are in is the same situation I was in with my mother. From a standpoint, it's just me and her. So I'm able to relate because I was that kid, right? She lost her mother. She's going through a different challenge that I was going through, but I technically lost my father and my brother and my sister, and I was living in this area of turmoil where so is she, maybe emotionally inside. So I'm able to talk to her and communicate with her as that child at times, going, like, for example, I remember when I used to come home and my mom would be home, she would be in her room and the door would be closed every day. And it wasn't inviting for me, right? I never closed my door. So now I know, because I know what I thought. So I don't want her to think that. So I'm able to relate to her on a level because I was in her shoes going through that, right? I also understand that I've gone through a lot of trauma, and I know she went through trauma. So I'm able to talk to her and say, because she has taken on this Fincher gene too, where she's so strong, and I say to her, I love I'm actually able to talk to her about her strength, and we can understand each other because we both have it. So literally driving her to school the other day, I said to her, I said, Jada, your strength is going to be the best thing ever for you in your life. However, it's going to be the worst thing for you as well. You got to know when to be vulnerable, right? I said, you have something inside you right now that's coming to get you. And you're going to do everything you can to hold it off. And guess what? You will hold it off. But it's inevitable. It's coming for you. And I try to tell her, do it while you're with me, because I can help you through it. Get it out now. Oof. Right? Get it out now, because I'm here for you and I can support you. But that thing is coming for you. Mm-hmm. And I told her, it didn't come out till I was 35. Mm-hmm. So you can get it out now, you can get it out later. But this is why these situations I'm able to use my situations to help me be a better father, because she's definitely going through some things that I know the challenges of the trauma, and she don't even realize how strong she is, that she's just blocking it all out. And I'm able to look at her and say, I love you for that, and I'm happy you're able to do that. But I also want you to know the real strength comes in your vulnerability.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think that you deserve to be loved?
That's a good question, but yeah, I do. I'm not like, I don't know, when I read that question, I'm not like, oh, nobody loves me. You know, I do believe I deserve to be loved. Yes. I don't feel any type of way about that. I do believe I deserve to be loved. I'm trying to just navigate through your question a little bit. I do struggle with, like, What's the word I'm looking for? What's the issue, mommy issue that you have?
Receiving and
Approval.
Accepting.
Yeah, like approval. Like I do feel like I have to prove myself to people a lot. You know, like see me for who I really am. And that could be a mommy issue, you know, trying to prove to her that I'm this person or whatever. But I do believe I deserve to be loved, but I definitely have some kind of approval thing going on where I want approval to some degree. It's I'm working on that too.
Okay, couple more. What are you looking for in a partner?
Huh? You know what? I'm looking for someone who's willing to grow. I'm realizing in my life, because I think growth is so important. I just want somebody that is willing to grow, wants to grow, is accepting of challenges to dig deeper within themselves. I want somebody to be able to challenge me and make me dig deeper within myself. I want somebody to be honest and truthful with themselves. And make sure I go back to truthful because I got something to say on that, but honest with themselves. And I want somebody that can communicate, right? Like, even if your communication is not coming out the right way, just communicate it and we can work on that. But I would like someone to be able to communicate their thoughts, because I feel like if we can communicate, we can get through anything. So that's what I'm looking for. Jeez. That's what I'm looking for.
I muted your mic. It's cool. What did you want me to come back to? I forgot it just that quick.
Truthful.
Oh yeah, come back to the truthful. And then we got one question. Can you see the chat or no?
I can see when that person's question comes up, but I can't see the chat.
Yeah, we got one. It's all right. I'm muting it. We got one more good question. Maybe truthful. Two. Sorry, maybe two. Yeah, talk about the truthful, and then we got two questions.
Yeah, sorry. So we'll close the show. The thing I wanted to say about being truthful to yourself, and it taps into how I'm able to get through situations. One thing I'm able to do that I don't think a lot of people do is I tell myself the truth, and I recognize the truth. Like, if I'm not performing well, I'm able to go, "You're not performing well." Whereas other people will lie to themselves and then make it about other people and things like that. Like, I'm constantly going, what is the truth in the situation? Why am I at rock bottom? Is it because of who? Right? And that's why I'm able to make it, because I go, I'm at rock bottom. And what could I have done to not be at rock bottom? And if I say to myself, there was nothing I can do, now I can look at others. But if that starts with being truthful with yourself, and people lie to themselves every day, and they just got to stop.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Every time I think I'm coming to an end, I see a good ass question.
No, it's okay. Questions all day.
We're gonna try to I'm gonna try to order it right. So one is this: how do you preserve a healthy balance with the people in your life?
Woo. How I preserve a healthy balance is understanding what each relationship needs to be healthy, right? So, like, my brother and I might not need to talk every single day, but we may need to check in here and there. So as long as that's happening, the relationship is healthy. My sister might need a call every week, right? And things like that. So I got to make sure I do that. My mother might need a visit. So in all my relationships, I make sure I understand what they need in that relationship to feel whole for me. And then I make sure I try to do those things.
I know this is a good one. Are you able to trust women?
Yes.
Okay.
Each person, or if we're talking about women, each woman that comes in my life, they get a fresh start with me. It ain't like I'm holding nothing. It's up to you to make me not trust you. So I don't not trust women. No. Or like people. I see them for what they're worth, and you're gonna give me information to tell me I shouldn't trust you. Until then, you have levels of trust.
Okay. This one's a doozy. You ready?
I'll make it.
From Sophia Gazo. Have you sat down with your parents and forgave them for some of their decisions, and also thanked them for those same decisions as it helped you grow from the experience of them?
It's a great question, Sophia. Very, very, very good question. Have I sat down and forgave them? No, I haven't had a literal sit down with them and forgave them. And to your second part is, with my dad, no, I haven't had a sit down and thanked him. With my mom, I do have moments where I let her know I appreciate some of the things that have happened and things like that, and show my level of appreciation. But I haven't sat down with them. I think that is the next step. But the first step was I had to accept it in myself. And that's where I'm at now. Like, I've accepted what has happened in my past. And now I'm able to move forward for myself. And that was most important. I had to heal myself first. Now I can sit down with them and then talk to them from there.
I'm proud of you, man.
Thank you.
I am. That I could see the growth. I could feel it, man.
Yeah.
It's been an hour and a half, man. Of course, we could definitely run this back. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Thank you, bruh, for being my very first guest. I wouldn't have it any other way.
For sure.
This is really good. I want to know if you understand like how much this conversation could be helping other people out there.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do. Being in the space that I was in, you do start to see how you impact people. And, at one point in my life, and maybe even still now to some, I was a role model or a figure to people. And I do know and understand that I do have some traits and qualities that people might look up to and things. And so I do think it's important. That's why when you ask me to do it, I think it's important because, I was in a space where it's perceived to be strong and things like that, where I can show people that I'm growing and I'm vulnerable and it's okay and it's comfortable, and I can also show people that I've been through experiences, traumatic experiences, and that I'm okay. And you're going to be okay. So I do understand the volume of that, and anything I can do to help that, I'm definitely down for.
That's powerful, man. To let people know that that you're okay, and even if you weren't okay, it's okay.
Yeah. It's gonna be okay. Yeah, exactly. It really is. Like I know it's easier said than done, especially coming from me because my mindset. But like when you're at bottom, you're gonna make it. Like you're gonna make it, and you almost get to a point where you laugh and like, I can't even believe I thought the way I thought. Right? You're gonna make it. It's just a matter of making adjustments to get you back on track, right? It's a train moving forward. You're off the rail. Just get back on the rail and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I remember having a little chuckle at my rock bottom moment. And I was like, this is rock bottom.
Right?
I was like, but if this is rock bottom,
right,
I could push through this.
Correct.
Do you have any parting words for the crowd, for the audience, for the people?
First off, I'll say thank you for having me on. I definitely appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate your growth. I mean, I would have never imagined this, for sure. But I definitely appreciate your growth. I appreciate you allowing me to come on and share my story and, and try to help others out there. I definitely appreciate the viewers who are watching this, for allowing me to open up to you guys. And I hope that there's something that I said that can help you or help others and things like that. I'm an open book, so I'm sure we'll do this again. So any questions you have, I'm willing to answer, because like I said, I'm comfortable in my skin, and I want to show you that you can be comfortable in your own skin. And so I definitely just appreciate, everything that we're doing here.
Yeah, this is good. I'm thinking, we have a few guests on, and then once we have some people on, then we have a panel, and we just kind of talk about things as a group, maybe like a men's support group, and then we have some women coming on too. So it's not just going to be just men. So
right.
Thank you, everybody. We're about to end this. It's been an hour and a half. Totally appreciate it. I like the way this is going, and we're going to do a lot more of these. All right. So thank you, everybody. Have a good day.